Hi, folks, and welcome to the Friend or Foe Lounge. My name is Sharogan. I am going to be your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster for this, or actually host, friendly neighborhood host. And this is a very special Helios lounge because we, for the first time, actually have only Helios members. So we're going to be joining us today. We have Oriri from Terracotta Gaming, Ahntye from Restless Leg Syndrome, and for the first time on the lounge, we have Sadist from Coin Flip Gaming. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all been having a wonderful evening and things have been going good at the time of recording this. We have been having some fun on the recording, so to say the least. So we're gonna kind of just hop right into this. I'm gonna hit the play button. This is usually where things go wrong.
It's so fun.
But Sadist, I want to hop over to you. With this, we had Coin Flip Gaming going against Gorilla Muffins. This was your first time going against them, I believe. What was your expectation going in, and did Gorilla Muffins actually hold up?
We know full well that we were going to have to take away the mouse and ego, and with the Race to the Moon buffs, leaving that on the table was kind of pick or ban. I knew full well that the vein was going to get either taken or banned away from me, but I still had Tristan on the table. So we had a very good composition. Going into the game, we kind of knew
is something that helps out a lot of that, whether it's going to or support.
Our early game was a bit rough,
is the easiest stun in the game to land, so why not take a champion that has very little area execution, which means the Yone will be headed to the top lane.
We're the youngest champ. Yeah, no, it's like you guys definitely were doing pretty darn well. I'm trying to remember if this was the game where you got that quadra killer, was your other one versus us.
No, that was against us.
That was our last game. That was our last game. This is where our like star top laner Paul we got him ahead and we put him into the carry position.
So let's just kind of hop right in here. About 17 minutes into the game. At this point, Paul, he's doing pretty good. 56. I'm trying to remember where it was he started like really getting ahead. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it was after the Yone Tower Dove, and then after that, Darius just got to kind of snowball from there.
Right, because if I remember correctly, Gorilla was actually doing pretty well early on in this game, as we can see. Like it was about here where Sonafiend was just going absolutely nuts. That Seraphine champion, I have issues with because she stole Sona's rework.
Yeah,
just straight up.
She's crazy.
So mad, and is so strong.
You guys, I remember last season, RLS we were abusing her in one of our games, and we get a ridiculous team fight off from like 8k gold behind, and all of us start saying that Seraphine's broken.
Champion screw us, yeah.
Pretty much. So I do remember that Coin Flip, you had pretty strong objective control. Like I don't remember Gorilla Muffins. I think they may have picked up one Drake throughout the entire match. But other than that, was there kind of like that your main objective? You knew that Pole Vaulter, you wanted to get him ahead, and nice pull out on the Darius Crime City skin.
We wanted to put the Darius on the map for sure, because I knew I'd be playing because Shen Vayne and overstepping can get us killed. So we just kind of wanted to play around mid top, which I think we did. Pole died early, but like we were able to put kills on him like mid to late game, which kind of strived. And we also wanted to make sure that Yone could just stop picking up kills at a point, because it becomes the Yone differential in a lot of games, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you expecting Bacon to pull out the Yone in this game?
We were totally expecting the Yone, so that's why we put it into the Darius, because even if Darius falls behind here, he can still go for trades in lane with the Yone, but has to just respect damage.
That's really true. That's really, really true. That is one of the problems with Yone, is just the fact he's able to dive in, get a lot going on for him. However, it's just he puts himself at risk. This was the fight I was looking for. Let's see, where was it? You guys were... So... setting up It's right here. I believe this is where... So Zach is going to dive in here. Or was it? It was in the jungle, I think, right? Is this where you guys started pulling ahead?
I think it was around here, yeah. We kind of like took any opportunity we could to just start forcing picks and getting kills onto our Darius. Because this is where I believe he picks up so many kills here. And this kind of has him scale super hard. Yeah. We won't talk about how I was 1 and 11 at the end of the game. But, you know, it was something.
You know, sometimes that's just what ends up happening is like you have someone who goes 1 and 11. It's like, oh, they didn't actually make any impact. It's like, actually, they were there for every fight. Yeah. But yeah, so like with this, did you know that Yone had slipped down over into Gromp?
Yes. We kind of knew he was gonna start pathing down into our own jungle, so we wanted to collapse on that.
Oh, okay. So it's like you were able to get that, and it looked like Yone was just gonna be fighting him by himself, but it didn't end up working out that way.
Hey, Yone's out here going like, hey, 1v1 me, but
he almost got the Shen in there just really early on. And then that obviously turned into a Baron call, which you guys ended up taking pretty handily, and that resulted in a big push and kind of just turned the whole game around.
That one play kind of just set the game like through the roof for us. Excuse me so I can quickly get a drink of water.
Sure thing. That's actually good timing because let's go ahead and hop into the next game, which was Rex versus Ahntye. Let's see. Oops.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I wasn't around to watch this game like as it was going. I kind of just skimmed through it. But okay, why did they leave Gnar open? That's my first question, because I don't know if you watched Rex versus RLS, but the first thing we did was ban Gnar and Ornn, because Joshi, I am not going to give a top laner who plays primarily hard engaged champions with teamfight deciding ultimates, who we know is their main shot caller, a champion with a teamfight deciding ultimate that they're very comfortable with playing.
Yeah.
And like most of the time, in a lot of situations, you're not taking top lane first, because a lot of the times most top laners aren't too comfortable with a lot of matchups, and there's a lot of jungle picks that are very strong right now. I know in LCK they do like to pick top lane first, but as far as Helios goes, I do think that reserving top lane for later stages in the draft is usually fine. But you're giving Joshi Gnar. They're taking that first pick 100% of the time.
They really are. Like Joshi just absolutely loves taking the Gnar, and he's just going to take it every single time. And so that was a really big problem. And I don't know if that was just Ahntye disrespecting Rex, or if it was them thinking that they just had the counter with the Shen in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, right? Joshi as a player, I think, very good player. I respect him a lot. I think that in terms of laning, his laning isn't the part that scares me about Joshi. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I can just counter this in lane with this champion. If you're going to counter it, going even is not enough. You have to win that lane and then make use of that in other lanes. And you have to snowball the game outside of that. Because if Joshi goes even in lane and he's on a champion with a teamfight deciding ultimate, he's the main shot caller for his team. He's absolutely going to make use of it. And we've seen to great effect that he's phenomenal at it.
With this Rex versus Ahntye game, this did result in Rex kind of pulling out one of those wins that was a little unexpected, just because of how strong Ahntye is and how we're used to seeing in the trees just kind of dominate the league. And so I think that really kind of set Rex apart, and they definitely seem like they're a big contender for the top positions. I don't want to say that we were quote unquote sleeping on them, because they were able to pull out the the Kalista to great effectiveness that you usually only see in pro play because she's such a team reliant champion. It's really hard for her to get her damage off.
Well, I agree with you that I think that Rex is a very strong team. And I've always been saying that Rex is one of the teams to watch out for. This version of Ahntye is also not the strongest version of Ahntye we've seen. They had to play with people in different lanes from what we usually see. If I remember correctly, Bo Explode's not playing jungle in this game because they weren't able to play their new starter on that Thursday. So I don't think that we're going to see I don't think this is very representative of this matchup just yet. I do think that giving over Gnar was a mistake from Ahntye, but I think that the rematch will be electrifying, to say the least.
Oh, big time.
And I personally think that Rex is good into Ahntye, like as comp. Statistically, yeah. Whereas I think Ahntye is individually better than a lot of the, like all their players, including their subs, are individually better than most people in their counterpart lane, so they just win the early game so much, which they show that in their wins, like against TG versus, I forget who they won the first day, where all the games were like extremely one-sided. There was no chance. They ended in less than 25 minutes, and then Rex, they play it slow and they play it really well.
They play it meticulously. They're so meticulous with how they play stuff.
And they're not looking for any leads early. They don't necessarily care about that. And they just out macro you, which they showed that against TG. They can out macro any team in the league. Rex can. So I think Rex probably underestimated them. Underestimated Rex.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that has something to do with the fact that they are Academy casters, so they have been watching these Academy level games, so that kind of gives them a little bit more of an insight into the macro play of how League of Legends is supposed to work, quote unquote?
Personally, I would say it's more of they already have that game knowledge, which is one of the things that aided them to becoming Academy casters, not really the other way around. Though obviously studying up on League of Legends is going to be better and more conducive to learning how to play League of Legends. I think that Rex as a team stylistically, if they're going even in lane, you better have a good mid game, because it's definitely not a team you want to sleep on or take to the later games.
Big time.
All right, so with that, I do realize I actually skipped over a game.
Yeah, you skipped over my team. It's okay.
I did. I
understand.
accidentally closed the window.
It's just
I'm backing up to grab that.
It was a good game up till it wasn't. Like first 12, like I would say first 10 minutes of the game, it was very low. Like it was like five kills total on both sides.
It was an even game until it wasn't.
Yeah, it was and then like we got one good fight at Dragon. We had a set TP down. We got 2 kills on our Jhin, I believe, or 1 kill on Jhin, 1 kill on Volibear. And after that point, it just slowly we pushed our advantages so much on all sides of the map, and they just couldn't. They didn't have a comp to respond to that. They have no way to bounce back. They have a good scaling comp, but we have a good mid game comp with Set, Volibear, Alistar, Orianna. So we just pushed our leads.
Speaking of Set, I just happened to click into a point in the game, and we got Set getting a really nice kill in the top lane here. So let's go ahead. So you got Biggest Deakus trying to go in on this, and I don't know why you would ever want to 1v1 a Set. Just because it's terrifying, especially when he's got your minions.
This is the play where he was like had 1 HP and Volibear got rooted, and those are like 0 HP.
Yeah, he thinks he's gotten away and he's walked away and he's like starting to back in the lane, but I'm pretty sure he ends up sticking around for some extra CS, which is just a little bit greedy.
So greedy.
He's like, I could probably take the Set if he just re-engages.
So I'm just gonna say it flat out. So we can see in Biggest Deakus' inventory, you got a control ward, a refillable pot, and 2 ruby crystals. And depending on how many backs there were, that is one of a very gold inefficient buy, I'd say, because if you have 800 gold and you're laning against Set, that's a Bramble Vest, just 100% of the time. If you don't rush Ninja Tabby and Bramble Vest into Set, and their entire enemy team isn't filled with like people who CC you, then you're being very, very greedy with your gold. Especially if you're playing weak side and you're just trying to equalize.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in that case, we can kind of talk a little bit about itemization and how people do this. And Sadist, I definitely want to get your input on this. So we see that you're talking about building a Bramble Vest and Ninja Tabby versus a Set. He went straight into the Kindle Gem. So he's trying to get that extra wave push with the AoE damage, the sustain in the fights, which is probably one of the things that popped up under the recommended tab. So recommended is obviously going to give you the most commonly built paths, which is usually the most golden efficient from what I've been seeing. How do you guys decide your build order essentially?
Well, as a support, I usually just build boots first and get a control ward because I play a lot of sports that need to like roam. Not need to roam, but have a very, very strong impact in roaming. So having boots, and even if it's not Mobies, it can be any boots, just the extra movement speed's nice. And then I go into my mythic. But I know top lane specifically, I know you build Bork, you build Wit's End first, and you like you build all these other items first. I don't understand it. Like,
Listen up. So, okay, as far as League of Legends works, it's an objective-based game. Every single bit of gold that you have should always go into getting more gold. It's like capitalism. You get money, you spend it in ways to try to get more money. And the way how you do it is, for example, as an AD carry, your job is to do damage. So you spend your money on things that allow you to auto attack as much as possible and put out the most damage possible. So for example, you have Kraken Slayer, you have Shield Bow, you have Gale Force. And those three are, Gale Force gives you survivability, Kraken Slayer gives you more attack speed, so you can technically get out more auto attacks as long as you have the right amount of peel. And Shield Bow, if you're getting dove on and you're about to die, the sustainability is going to give you more abilities to auto attack. And in the top lane, sometimes that means you build for survivability, sometimes that means you build for fighting. Because if you build for combat and you have the ability to 1v1 your opponent, you can get more gold that way. But in Maokai Set, you are never killing Set 1v1 as the Maokai unless Set is messing up. So at that point, you just build for survivability and equalizing the lane, because you're already weak side, you aren't supposed to win the lane, and going for things that are going to help you win the lane is just going to be greedy at that point. The reason why you see champions like Irelia building Bork first is because those champions will get more gold from snowballing the laning phase and winning the lane. So building to combat stats ends up being more efficient.
And I want to say that right here, it's a pretty, like, Jovi getting out of this fight was insane. Like, there was so much back and forth on this that I was, like, going for Terracotta at first, then it was going for PTP, and then it turned around and Terracotta was able to get out, and it was pretty nice. And then in the bot lane, you just had Vanal 1v1ing and taking down...
That should have been in Iron Tower's favor. He cancels three auto attacks. So
can we talk about the massive ego check that's going on in the bot lane between the two of us? They're legitimately just ego checking each other at this point. Like they both have no sums, and it's just a battle of like who has the bigger dick here. Like, come on now.
it's as Fang over Fang would say, it's who has the more BDE. So I think in that one, it definitely came out in Vanal's favor. I mean, it's in the name.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
So. All right.
Honestly, though, like the kills picked up on Jhin that game were so bad for them.
Yeah. And another thing is they just kept getting picked a lot. Like, especially when right before the objective was coming up, one of them would get picked and would just give us a free Drake, or they would go into a spot to contest Drake, and they shouldn't have just been there. Should have given Drake, which is I think another weakness for a lot of teams is not knowing when's a given objective.
It is. It's kind of sometimes it's... Yeah. Go right ahead, Sadist.
Like with this Drake here, realistically, you shouldn't have your support dying or
Yep.
even your mid laner dying. Like anyone dying for that Drake, because here you can just give up Drake and just Herald isn't up, but you can just start securing things all on the top side of the map. Like just have your jungler invade, take whatever camps is up red side. Now you're denying XP and CS to the Volibear, which you want to do to shut him down. And then you can look for something mid just off that. Because Maokai and Set are going to just be sitting top lane, perma-farming and not really looking to fight.
It's just farming simulator up there in the top lane.
Exactly.
Well, was there anything in particular about this game, Oriri, that you wanted to bring up, like just in regards to the performance out of PTP?
The biggest thing like from PTP I noticed is just mispositioning and doing things unnecessary. But it looks like they were trying to force things that they don't win, like especially early game. They have a strictly late game comp. Like they don't have a mid early game. They have CC layering, but if that is the CC layer, they only did that one time the entire game CC layer properly, and that was on the mid gank. So I think the biggest thing was just don't be in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was. I see what you're getting at. It was basically like you just saw the mistakes that they were making and were able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, like that. Like if they play this game where like how they need it to be, it's a way harder game. Like just like if they play Farm Fest and don't I'm trying to think of the word.
Don't take unnecessary deaths.
Yeah, don't take unnecessary deaths. This game is way harder for us in general because of we're a very snowball-like comp. Alistar, Volibear, we all can dive. Set dives, Jhin can long range dive. We have Orianna Ball. Like we have all this dive potential, and dive comps are relatively snowball. They're snowball heavy, so just letting us snowball even further is rough.
Exactly. And so that was the first 3 games that we had, which were for week 2, day 1 of the Helios League. Things went pretty well that way. We did have Aegis wasn't able to play, so we actually had the staff game where it was PTP versus Predator Foe staff.
Baby.
Rap Terror doing so much work. So much work. I was trying to get him out of that top lane, just wasn't able to do it. So was there anything about this game that you kind of, because you got me here, I can kind of walk you through what my thought process was as the jungle, but other than that, was there anything about this game that kind of like stood out to you here, Oriri, because you had just faced PTP the day before?
To be honest, I did not watch this game.
Well,
I think I watched Tom Kench just queue the top laner a lot of times. That's about it. I think it was just relatively unfair. PTP is relatively coordinated, and you're putting a level 17 or something like that in the bot lane.
27,
Makes
I think.
it a little rough. 27, like that's still rough.
Lost your camera, Oriri.
Oh,
you are.
I'm still seeing my camera.
A cloud of pixels. 1 second. Just give it a second. Let us see if we can.
I'll refrain from saying anything about that game because I don't want to flame.
You don't want to flame us?
I don't want to flame
staff?
Bye.
Hey, Sadist.
I don't want to flame, but
No, I won't. Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I know it was just a for fun game, so I'm just gonna do things for fun, and that's fine.
Listen, I was really hoping to see some like crazy off meta pick, like.
Yeah.
We saw the Fang over Fang Senna, baby.
True.
Yeah, that was very off meta.
that
Mostly
really
because
was.
Fang doesn't play. That was the most interesting part of that game, to be honest.
I know Fang went into that game tilted.
Yeah, you're not entirely wrong on that. It was definitely but I have to say that the Rap Kench was by far my favorite thing about that game. I mean, just look at that beautiful graphic.
Honestly,
Kench was quite a beauty. I think that Raptor taking Ignite on top of going Kench top into Maokai was a bit greedy, but they definitely made use of it. Like, what was it? Like, it was a double kill after getting Dove without even having flash to burn.
I think that's what it was.
The one thing that caught me off guard was the Xerath support. I knew he played it, but I wasn't expecting it to be played at all during the season, even during this fun game. And Cyborg Skull absolutely popped off.
Yeah, Cyborg
So
Skull got
I don't know if they're going
wide.
to. I don't know if they're going to pick this in the regular season, or what, or maybe they're saving it for playoffs to surprise people. But that's a spicy pick that caught me really off guard.
All right, yeah, no. So with this fight, we got the dragon, and we're just kind of like, look, just leave him, just go. Yeah, and unfortunately, Nautilus was lost for that.
I mean, it's better to lose one person and get a Drake than lose 5 people and not get a Drake.
Yes. I think that was the only Drake we got this game, though.
It'd be that way.
It do be that way.
It
Just talk to
sometimes
RLS
do.
about that game 1.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was really funny. It was really funny going into that because before the game started, like a lot of my teammates were being like really, it's not quite cocky. I'd say bordering on the line between confident and cockiness. So I said jokingly before the game, yo, I should totally throw this so that way we just get that first loss out of the way, and that way everyone's egos are in check.
Yeah.
Hey, you didn't need to. Your team threw for you. No offense.
No offense. Honestly, I think that we all took a good amount out of that game because
That's good.
We figured out things as like, hey, we should work on this, we should work on that, and we should just keep working towards that. And we ended up doing well into Rex the next day, so
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Rex is worse than ROS. TG is better than ROS. Or X is better.
If Rex is
Rex is
way
better than
lower.
INT.
Rex is better than
Rex is
INT.
worse than
Better than
RLS.
TG. It's just a
Wait a
big
minute.
circle.
Wait a minute. Rex is
It's
worse
the
than
same
RLS.
thing. It's the same thing that FOF tweeted out a while back. Apparently, RLS is more coin flip than coin flip gaming.
You know. That was pretty funny. Yeah, no, either way, like I just want to say that from a staff perspective, we had a lot of fun in this one. It was really enjoyable. It was nice actually getting to play.
That's great to hear then.
And so that was the most exciting thing about that, was just being able to play was a lot of fun. So then in the next game was coin flip versus RLS. So I know we were just mentioning this. Sadist, Ahntye. Now's a chance for you both to kind of, you know,
All right.
air out your grievances.
I've had a full week to think of all my excuses. So what I can say here is that I'm playing an off roll. I'm playing with one hand.
Yeah.
I was blindfolded. My monitor was off,
Yeah.
and my little brother was playing, and he hasn't even been born yet.
Okay. So your excuse for the game is you guys.
If I'm gonna be 100% honest, one of the things that frustrated us here was we had our full roster ready to go against Aegis the day before, and we knew going into Friday that we would not have our mid laner available because his work schedule, he's told them that he can't work Thursdays and Fridays. Like signing on, he told them that he couldn't work Thursdays and Fridays, and they keep scheduling him for Thursdays and Fridays anyway. So it's kind of rough. And because of that, we said, all right, well, we'll put Kiri in the top lane. We'll just stick Ahntye into anyone who goes missing, and we'll see how it works out. Interestingly enough, Escape actually mentioned banning out Tristana before Wave 2, and I was like, well, let's just leave it up this time.
Because like realistically here, like you guys, you did, like I left the Vayne. I was like, I want them to either pick or ban it. And I would, because it's like if you take away the Tristana, I have the Vayne open. Unless you're gonna give me the 2 respect bans and ban both away. But realistically, I still have another hyper carry. So it's regardless of what happens here, it's fucked.
In terms of
so many opportunities to come back.
All I can say is that in terms of drafting, it's much harder for me to draft when I don't have everyone in the position I'm used to having them in. Because I wasn't too sure going into it how well Kieri would do in top lane. We're under the impression that she would do pretty well, because as you can see, Kieri's pretty solid at top lane. I think she's a very good sub, and I think that despite being a sub, she's probably better than a majority of the tops in Helios that I played against so far.
Yeah.
Not Aqua.
No flame at all. It's just that as in terms of raw laning, I think that Kieri is generally a very strong laner.
I will say though, you guys had the early game like completely won, but there was a lot of objectives you guys gave up and fights you shouldn't have taken.
Yeah, one of the other big problems here, I'm one of the main shot callers for our team. If I'm playing a champion that I'm not familiar with, I cannot focus on anything other than playing that champion.
That's what.
And I have not played mid lane in. I was playing a few mid lane games leading up to this point, but before that, my mid lane is not practiced. That's what I'll say. So I think our macro calls being off were definitely something that we should work on as a team, but I also don't want to give us too much of we have to work on things that I think that we should already have down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what I've been hearing is a lot of excuses coming from Ahntye.
Yes,
for just saying, hey, it was totally not my fault that we lost. Totally not on us. Totally not on me. So I want to go over to Sadist and be like, okay,
full week.
What was your plan to beat this guy?
Like realistically here, like we went into this game saying like full well we need, because we had our comp was legitimately, if they give us Vayne, protect the Vayne. If they give us Tristana, protect the Tristana. We had that comp in our pockets the entire time because we were going to play around bot lane. Because if we look towards, it was later in the game, it was we lost a Drake fight and had to give up Drake at one point in the game, and it was close. It was somewhere around here because like we were even, but that fight like had us all going down towards Drake. Because at all points the match was like fairly even around all states. Here it was, yeah. So like here, like in our heads, we're like, okay, we want to front to back it, but at the same time, we probably can't. So like, okay, we can probably just shred Drake here. I don't know if we either get it or if we lose it here.
I can't recall off the top of my head, but we can just let this play so we can find out. I'm pretty sure y'all get it because you're able to zone them off and you just shred it down. And then the fight basically turns and it gets pretty intense.
Yeah, so yeah, we take the Drake here, but then we end up losing a lot. The Scion. So it was, okay, right here, this is where I ask you, right after this fight, what was the call to go to Herald?
Oh,
I'm curious about the Herald call, because the Herald call is what lost you guys the game.
If I'm going to be completely honest here, looking back at this, if we go directly from Dragon to Herald, I think that is completely fine.
Yeah, no, Herald, straight to Herald, perfect, but like
straight to Herald, that's fine. And my snap decision was, hey, we should go to Herald. But by the time I called that, we had already pushed down mid lane a little bit, so we had wasted too much time. This was my call. I feel like a lot of this game, my team overall played really well. I think that a majority of the issues that we had in terms of mechanical plays or macro calls, 100% my fault.
like
I think that my teammates played really well. I think that I let my team down a lot this game.
Yeah. I will say, like, because here it's like, all right, you guys take the Drake. Realistically, you just want to establish vision. You even like just take the blue and you guys full reset. Because now here,
Yeah, absolutely.
you're overstaying, knowing full well. Okay, but like, let's all pay attention to the map here and how your ADC also through this. Now let's Cheryl, pause it right here. Okay. Well, oh no, I was gonna say slow it down, but basically,
Oh, I can easily slow it down.
if we take a look, so you see us walking up here, like we're walking to Herald, knowing full well you guys are on it. You just clear vision. Now it's a 5v4 currently. We're looking to engage. Where's your ADC? And why are they on Raptors? Why? Like I can see them clearing it. There's the plus 45. They just killed the big one.
But the fight's
Your
already
ADC
started.
is completely out of the fight here, and the fight has already started instead of your ADC being here to shred. Because realistically, Kaisa here would shred this, and you guys could either like you'd give up a couple people and then get out. But here now, I am getting 2 kills. I clean up on the Braum because I can easily just hop away from your Nocturne, turn on the Braum, look at him, shred the Nocturne, and then I'm going back after. You can speed it up back here, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Like this is where the turning point in the game is, because you've now put me in a point where I'm super ahead. Like I was behind, and now I get a kill on to Nocturne, and then we'll immediately look at Sion here. Another kill hop onto Sion. Realistically here, if I could have immediately just looked at the Kaisa, then turned on Sion, and so I was like, all right. And my thought process here is like, should we get you the Penta? And I was like, nah, just give it up. There's no point in like T-diving this, because if we give up like kills onto that Kaisa, she becomes huge, and it's not worth the Penta kill here. So now I pick up Quadra, and I'm sitting on 2.3k after the entire fight.
Yeah, that was a really well played fight. And one thing I do want to point out is if we hop over here back to that fight, I don't think Kaisa actually does an auto attack until like you've already started turning around on her.
Yeah. Like,
well, no, because like at that point, walking into things, it's kind of hard
no. Right about
I think that
here.
the
So
moment
see,
that
she's
she
walking up,
starts
walking up.
Here.
No auto. Finally autos.
There's the hesitation. No auto. First auto. Yeah.
Yeah, in the dash in, she can't auto, and by the time that she finished the dash, a lot of the champions were already on the very edge of her auto range. I don't think that one's really.
Now, look, I don't mean to hit on your top laner, but can we talk about how, like, I have never seen any female play top lane like this consistent and like at a high level, and then play Sion out of all champions. Like, not even like
that was a nice knockup right there.
Sion. It was. Like we lose.
Toru, Kiari, she is insane.
She's crazy.
So does that mean that we might see her replace you in some of the future games? Even if you don't need a sub?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. Before this season began, we were deeply considering having Kiari just play top lane, and I was going to role swap to support. The reason why it didn't happen was more along the lines of consistency for practices. And that's pretty much the deciding factor. Also, in terms of raw laning and experience, I've spent more time playing competitively than her. And don't get me wrong, I think that she's a phenomenal top laner, and she does wondrous things subbing in for me, and I am always relieved to have her on the team. The two of us have both agreed that for top lane, in terms of main roster, putting me there is going to be more effective overall for us.
Okay.
But yeah, she's great.
All right.
I love the hell out of Tori.
The performance was absolutely fantastic, and we're looking forward to seeing her play some more. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's go ahead and hop into this. We got 2 more games left. Next one up was Rex versus Terracotta. So this is going over to you, Oriri.
Yo.
Going into this game, what was your game plan?
Well, our game plan got thrown on a spin because our top laner's computer died. Like exploded. Not actually exploded, but it blue screen of death stuff. Can't get it fixed. So sadly, he won't be able to probably play for the rest of the season until he gets a new PC.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, so
Oh God.
yeah, there's that. He's been playing on his friend's PC, but that's beside the point. So he put in Brain, he's played last season. He was an all-star jungler.
Mhm.
And pretty much our game plan was just to keep playing to our strengths, but we just didn't execute them properly.
Mhm.
That's pretty much the whole gist of it.
Was it because of the disruption that was coming out of Rex, or was it more just like
Rex just out macroed us? But they single-handedly won the game based off macro. Well, one play that comes to my mind is the perfect timing of they recalled, roamed top lane, all four, I think 4 or 5 of them went to Rift Herald, cleared Rift Herald, got to bot 30 seconds prior to Dragon spawning, cleared the wave, and was at Dragon on time.
Let's see, I think
So they can contest it.
was that right about? That was right before this one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like the whole sequence of events of, I think they even got a few kills up there too.
Mm-hmm.
They got Rift, got a kill or two, recalled, got to got to bot lane, cleared the wave, and was able to get Drake, and we were unable to contest at all.
Right, so y'all catch Rafa out as he's trying to stop y'all doing Rift. You just aren't quite able to take him down, and Joshi joins in. He did fall. Rafi fell. But then basically they just, because they rotated up, they were able to get it.
Yep. And I tried to roam, but I was late.
Mm-hmm.
And they just go straight to, like, I don't even think they got the Rift Herald. They were I think they actually get it later on, but they go get Drake instead, and that just, it puts them they have so much tempo compared to us now. They control what we do now. When we should be the ones, by comp, we should be the ones controlling what they do, because they have a relatively like a kite back comp. They want to fight in like tight knit areas, and that is not at the river. They want you to come into them.
So I do want to ask you, how do you feel about Akshan? Because we did see that he got a revive there by getting the kill on Vladimir to bring back Rafa a little bit earlier. How do you guys feel Akshan has started to fit into this meta? Is he as awful as people have kind of like said he was in the beginning, or is he kind of like evened out at this point?
All right, so I just watched a video about champions, like new champions. Yeah, champions are sometimes bad on release, sometimes they're really good on release. Usually the good ones have really high numbers, but the bad ones are usually hard champions. Look at Gwen. Look at Yumi, for example. Yumi had a 29% win rate on release. And they buffed her. And then when people learned, hey, you're not supposed to take flash and boots on the champion, she went up to like a 57% win rate. So I think Akshan, he had a 37% win rate. I think it was mostly just the skill ceiling of the champion rather than being bad. I honestly think was relatively balanced on release. But I do want to say that he does have a lot in his kit, and I don't like that. They basically put 5 different passes on a passive and then gave him a revive passive. So that's 6.
Yep.
So I think play-wise, he's fine, and as long as they don't overtune his numbers, which they have because of the buffs, once he gets back to a more balanced state, I think he'll be fine.
Okay.
I think he'll be really good and competitive.
The thing about new champions in general, I think that, for example, Gwen, the position that she's in right now, I think that the people in competitive who are playing Gwen, the only ones who can really do well with her are the ones who put the time in to really have her as a comfort pick at this point, rather than simply abusing her for the numbers, which is kind of where you want her as a champion. I think that that's her best balanced state. And
For sure.
there's a lot of new champions that are going to be more difficult like that, like Akshan. I think that Akshan, as he is right now, I'm not too sure about the numbers, but I think he's going to be a difficult champion to play. And the only people who are going to be able to abuse him are those people who have spent the time and the effort to learn the champion. It's a question that's like, do I divide my time between champions I already know are good, or do I put that time into champions that I believe can be good, but take a large amount of time investment?
Yeah.
Yeah, and with that, so like, let's go ahead and hop into this last one, which was In the Trees versus Gorilla Muffins. I'm not gonna lie, I think we all knew how this game was gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, just right from the beginning.
Especially because on Friday, In the Trees were able to run their replacement starter. So this is the new In the Trees roster that we're going to see, and that's what we expect to see for the rest of the season. These guys are not something to be trifled with.
They really are. They're definitely one of the big raid bosses of Helios, and I think this is probably the shortest game. It's probably only like 30 minutes, if that. Let's see.
I think it was faster than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a 28-minute game. 29-minute game.
Then TG still has the fastest game then. Get wrecked, Ahntye.
I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like if we see the A game of all the teams there, the top 3 teams in the league right now are Ahntye, Rex, and RLS in no particular order.
I personally think that I think you can't do a top 3. I think RLS and TG are tied in individual skill, and I think TG, I think you guys are better mechanically, whereas we're better in macro sense. So I think we're even. So I think that's my personal opinion on that.
I think that CFG can definitely come to play.
I was about to say,
when I say
Sadist, are you just going to sit there and take that? As they just say, yeah, CFG's nowhere in there.
I mean, I'll be honest.
When I say come to play, I'm saying it in a way that I respect y'all. I think that we still need to see more from you to really make a decision.
Yeah.
Only reason why I'm able to make it based off of these players is because I know quite a few of them. I've seen them play in a competitive aspect before.
Listen, I'm just here to take the tournament by storm, to be honest. That's what I've said since day one.
Yep, just take it by storm. Don't have 2 weeks.
All right, and so yeah, there's really not a lot we could say about this game just because it was so one-sided, unfortunately. You really hate seeing it. It's like, I am one of the subs for Gorilla Muffins, but I haven't needed to play. They've managed to find folks other than that, and I just know that if I was stuck in this game, I'd just basically be crying into the mic before the game even started. It would be a hell of a lot of fun, but it just going up against a Cog Seraphine would just make me hate my life. Just in general.
I feel ya.
So, with that, I don't really have too much left on my plate. I do know Oriri, there's some stuff going on with Terracotta Gaming behind the scenes. Would you like to expand a little bit on that and kind of let us know what's going on with them? Because I know that we're still also waiting on Aegis, and there's some scheduling issues that are going on with them.
Jovi and Cam can they have personal issues that they do, and they do not no longer want to play. One of the reasons being they're not enjoying League, so they're no longer going to be playing in the tournament. Which is why I posted looking for a mid and jungler. So this Thursday and Friday will be the test of our new mid and jungler. So right. We'll see how that goes.
Let's hope they can show out, dude. Your first game is up against us tomorrow.
I don't want to tell you who. I don't want to tell.
That absolutely wrecks my draft strategy now.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be like that because I think Jovi and Cam are really good players, especially together because they know each other in real life, and I think they have really good synergies.
I don't mean to BM or bad matter, but I'm pretty sure Friday is just another bye day. I don't think HS showed up on Friday.
Yeah, so like we do have a couple of games, so I've got the games pulled up right here so that we can kind of give our predictions. That's really unfortunate to hear about Terracotta. Like it kind of sets it up, especially so like at least it's early enough in the season that I feel like you guys should be able to like find your stride and come back.
Worst case scenario, they forfeit tomorrow.
Nope.
Worst case.
Nope. They got it.
We already have roster. We're good.
So
but like
you are going up against them.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, TG gets DDoSed for no apparent reason tomorrow.
So Terracotta versus CFG. Obviously,
I can't predict.
can't predict.
I think our mid laner is really, really good. I can't say anything about our jungler. But I think our mid laner is gonna be someone to watch. Like comparatively to other mid laners, I would compare him to Camo Basil of last season.
Interesting.
Interesting.
That is quite a statement.
quite a statement. Yeah, I would definitely. I'm putting my chips in on this mid laner. I think he's really good.
Okay.
If he doesn't perform, I've been playing with this necklace. We're not gonna talk about it.
Sadist, if you don't know anything about last season, Camel Basil was a player in the heroic leagues, meaning plat and under, who during the regular season climbed to master. So, like I said, quite a statement.
I think he's really good. I don't think he's Masters level because I think Camo Basil. I would comparatively like to the impact that he had with Feck. I would compare that to how this guy. I think how he's going to perform. Hopefully that makes sense.
So you're saying TG's going to turn to the mystery mid laner show, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, let's see if CFG can handle that. Yeah, I think
shouldn't be an issue.
I mean, the big thing I'm worried about now is, especially this week specifically, is synergy. We're not gonna have any. We played 2 games together so far as a team.
Baby.
Yeah, hopefully, the communication is there.
Yeah, hopefully. And as a shot
you want to
caller,
take down teams as their best, not their worst.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not we're gonna be perform at our highest, I think it'll take time. But I still think we'll be able to perform and give CFG and GURL a run for their money. It will not be a blowout.
All right, so with that, I'm gonna hop it over to Ahntye. With the games that you have coming up, you're gonna be going up against Pentakill Teemo Please, and then you're gonna be facing off against INT. I want to ask you, what are you doing to prep for that In the Trees game?
So, versus the In the Trees game, if I'm going to be 100% honest, I have not looked at INT. I have.
So you just you've just thrown it away. You're like, that ain't gonna happen.
No, I think that we can fully beat them. I think that it's definitely doable. The reason why I haven't is because I'm also an event organizer. I do a lot of things outside of FOF. So I've just generally been really busy lately, unfortunately. Like on Saturday, I'm driving like 70 miles down to Ventura for like a pre-major event thing. And I'm trying to get things set up. So it's definitely difficult. I think that I have taken the time beforehand to research into INT, and there's a lot of things that I have planned for that. The RLS versus PTP game is my bigger concern because we're not sure if Penguin Soldier can make it to that game either. So once again, it's no disrespect to INT. I definitely think that we can. I think we can actually win that. Is as long as everything goes according to plan. It's just tomorrow. I hope I don't have to play mid lane again.
I'm really out here rooting for GURL for the Rex game, though. You guys gonna take that one home?
Oh, I have always bet on who I think are the underdogs.
Yep.
So
every single game that I enter, I always try to get into Twitch chat in time to vote for the enemy team, because that way I don't lose. I always win and lose no matter the outcome.
Exactly. That's exactly how you do it. It's like during the staff game, that's how I did it. I put all my money on the opposing team.
Easy money. Throwing for content.
Well, not throwing. I tried. It's just didn't stand a chance in that jungle against direct side.
It be that way.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and close it out here. I want to say, guys, thank you so much. Technical difficulties aside, I think this went pretty well. Hopefully, everything will work out on your viewers' end as well. Audience, I hope you appreciate us. We're trying some stuff new behind the scenes. Getting it to work, it's still a work in progress. I just want to say thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. Is there anything you want to say before we close it out?
Go Terracotta Gaming.
All right, well, if that's it, we're going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much. Have a good one. We will be coming back with the regular Helios games on Thursday, September 2nd. So hopefully this will be up before then. But at the same time, we look forward to seeing you all. Remember to check out us on the Discord, links down below, as well as the Twitch, which is below as well. You all have a wonderful day and take care.
Yeah.